Welcome to the Millennial Life Coaches Podcast. At MLC, our mission is simple: add value to help you take on massive action towards your life goals. Here, we feature amazing coaches from all over the world, share compelling stories, and discuss proven practices to help keep your energy high and in the flow. Learn more about MLC at millenniallifecoaches.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches. I am one of your hosts, Tanya, and I'm joined by the amazing Austin Bradley. And we are also joined today with Brian Rump, a financial coach that we are super excited to get to share information and learn about. So Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself, your type of coaching, how you got into it, all the things.
All right. Yeah. So my name is Brian Rump. You can check me out at brianrump.com. And I am my business is called Profit Coach. And I'm a financial coach. And I help people deal with the problem of financial anxiety so that they can make smart financial decisions that help them get where they want to go. I really got into this. It was a natural progression in my career. I got really interested in money. In college, like so many young people do. I started my career in banking, and I just wanted to know how everything worked. I progressed to working as a consultant, getting government grants, and as I grew a business, started really being curious how people made financial decisions. So I got into some behavioral economics, some psychology of decision making. And it's led me on this journey of, being known as like a money guy who can help get you funding, but then really digging in and realizing, it's more about the technical or less about the technical aspects of how we get money and just more about, the mixture of mindset and how things work. So I'm on this new track of really focusing on that. I have been a business coach. I'm a certified story brand coach and guide, and realized that, when I work with businesses, the biggest paradigm shifts are the ones that really lead us to kind of tackle our money stuff and be able to really have the full confidence to grow our business and do what we're meant to do. So that is the not so quick version of how I got to be where I am today.
I love it. I'm here for it. So tell us a little bit more about financial anxiety, because I know you work a lot in that. What does that look like? What are common trends you see?
Yeah, so financial anxiety is really everywhere. I started thinking about, almost everyone I've dealt with in my whole career, I realized is dealing with some kind of anxiety. When I was a commercial banker, I got calls every day of like, my account's overdrawn, or I want to make this investment. And we start the application process to apply for credit. And that's a very stressful thing. Even something as simple as, and I can look at your facial expressions as I say this, what's your budget in your business? Let me see your financials. And these things can seem really easy. And when I think of like a commercial credit to lend money for a loan, it's actually really kind of simple and easy, the information you need. But I'm not sure if I've ever processed an easy loan in my life, because most business owners, as you know, aren't financial wizards. They didn't take business classes. They don't understand when they look at their financials, what's going on. They don't understand bank speak. They don't understand a lot of financial terms. And as I started trying to explain all of this, I realized, the problem's not just knowledge. It's, anxiety, other things that come up. Along my journey, I've taken a certification called the Trauma of Money, which is Chantel Chapman founded it. It's a great program, and going through that myself, you realize, money anxiety is everywhere. Everything that's happened in our life, money is adjacent to it. we start businesses because we want to earn more money to create the life we want. That usually costs more money. We all have baggage. I also have become a hypnotist and started working with my own mind. And you just realize that these things that cause us anxiety, these barriers we have, aren't things we have to live with. And finance and unpacking money and finances is where I've chosen to focus my energy on helping people, because I believe strongly in community. I believe strongly in small businesses. I believe we don't all have to be corporate executives, and to do that requires us to engage in money, understand what we want, and often it necessitates us to unpack some of those things that are holding us back. So, that's all to set up that financial anxiety is really everywhere in business. I think every problem in business is just a financial anxiety problem. And if we can coach our way through that and make decisions with confidence, now we're free to really create what we want to create in our business and do the work we were meant to do.
Brian, so first of all, I want to say thank you very much for what you do. I think that your niche, your coaching space is imperative, and it is something that business owners and especially coaches, they need a financial just coach or someone to just help them from an acumen's perspective and understand how everything works, but also to kind of drive them from a mindset perspective. And the reason that I'm so kind of vehement about this is because, Brian, I've been a business coach for, over a decade at this point. And I got into it. It was completely heart-centered. My goal wasn't to really even make money. It was to just help people and progress. And what I found is that, the heart-centered kind of deontological view, it is grounded in the right place, but it's not as sustainable. For example, one of my first clients, I sold a 1-month business coaching package for $200, $200. And this package was meeting once a week, messaging daily tasks, and just making sure that, we're hitting all the milestones. And I was exhausted after that month, and I loved it. She did fantastic. But I think that's when I kind of flipped my switch. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. The time and the value, although she was getting, a lot of value, it just wasn't quite adding up. And it wasn't until I got a financial coach, a business coach, that I felt more comfortable, I'll say, asking for money. And I was thinking more on a consequentialist perspective, we're going to do this, but we have to have funding in order to progress, and honestly, that shift, it was tough for me, especially, again, just being kind of heart-centered, but it's necessary. I guess, Tanya, how'd that land for you?
Oh, honestly, since the moment I've met Brian, I'm like, I need him as a coach in my life.
Exactly.
I'm going to spoil this, but I know he's dropping a program coming up here soon. I'm like, I am your first one in, because as a small business owner, we start with this, especially a coach, heart-centered. I want to serve the world. I want to help. We don't ask for what we're worth. And then that financial anxiety kicks in. And I'll be the first one to admit that when it comes to looking at my business accounts and stuff, I'm like, I can do that later. It's fine. I'm not comfortable in that niche. And having somebody who not only knows what they're talking about, but has the background that you do, Brian, I think is such a powerful asset to growing and scaling your business. Because really, as coaches, we don't, I want to coach. I don't want to think about the money.
Yeah, we want to coach and do what we do, but money's everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I sometimes forget about my background. I have a little, you can see it here, PFP. It's my personal financial planner thing. And sometimes I forget that I have that certification, and I forget the millions of dollars I've lent people. I forget that I can walk into a business with my lending risk hat on, and I just know what the financial statements are going to look like in almost an instant. And that, I believe, is such a strength of somebody who's actually seen day-to-day finances. We all, and I'm going to link to story here, we look at stories of success. We look at stories of, I'll call them finance bros or hustle bros, of thinking our finances should look a certain way. And then we beat ourselves up when they don't look that way. Yet, I'm here to tell you, most of what we think is wrong. And for my development, working in banking and seeing the reality of day-to-day, what people are going through, day-to-day, what it actually looks like in the bank accounts and balance sheets of everyday businesses or businesses we think are rich, having that perspective can really help us. We release that anxiety, and the confidence doesn't necessarily mean that we're rolling in money and everything's smooth and easy, but we really understand what we want. We understand the realities that everyone deals with, and we can really see what the specific challenges we have are, so that we can, put our efforts into solving those challenges. And when we don't know that, it's just such a anxiety inducing experience. And I believe that every business has to go through kind of a journey of figuring out what that is and means for them.
Because more often than not, when it comes to the mindset, that's generally what holds us back, right? It's not knowing what we're worth, not wanting to put the time and energy to it. So it's really, money is a byproduct of what we're doing. And that's really, especially with the hypnotherapy side, or hypnosis side, sorry.
It really is. And we are all ruled by, to me, it's stories, it's suggestions, if we use hypnotic language, of our upbringing from when we were a child and things people say to us, the way we see people doing things, some of our traumas we may have experienced, or emotional heights. They impact what I call, and what Brad Klontz calls, money scripts that we have. And I like to say that I help people rewrite their money story. So we all have these money scripts that deal with of how we're programmed as humans. And those typically are what get us into our business that we choose, but they're not what's going to get us ahead or get us to our next level. And what we have to do is rewrite that script. So we have to break it down, understand them. We have to do some releasing, some reframing, and some reprogramming, so that we can then build, the future we want and rewrite that story. What I love is, both of you, Austin, I've met you for however long we've been recording here, and what you said affirmed what I knew within about 3 seconds of seeing you, is, the money script that I believe, you've probably had, which is so common to a lot of coaches. Would you like to hear more about that one?
I would. I feel like I'm going to get some hypnotherapy live here. So let's do it for the audience, Brian.
Yeah, let's do it for the audience and for coaches. So coaches, when we're heart-centered, we want to help people. Often money anxiety quickly shows up, as you did, which is with you, is how much do I charge? Can I charge what I need to charge? There's also an element of, is it safe for me to have money and hold that money? We may look at, and everyone will say things like, oh, I didn't do it for the money, I want to help. Or I don't want to be rich, I just want to be comfortable. And Tanya, you said, well, I look at my bank account and I just like, oh, look, I can see it later. So there's 4 core money scripts. We'll leave 3 of them off to the side now, but one of them is money avoidance. So money avoidance, this is things like money equals greed. We feel at our deep core we might be undeserving of money. We might feel guilty for having money, and we just avoid thinking about it. I really deal with this with my own money, and it's ironic that I got into the money system and banking and economics. And I'll share briefly as I've unpacked my own. I think I really did that because I was, emotionally neglected, the parentified child. I was trying to, save and figure things out from my parents. So I learn all of these things, but have avoided them for myself. So some of the ways we can unpack this is, understanding it is safe for me to have money. So it's a little, sometimes hypnotic suggestion, sometimes just for ourselves consciously. It's safe to have money. I can be trusted with money. You could be, trusted with that money. If we had parents or stories where our money was really tight, or, if your piggy bank was full and your mom came to raid it so she could buy cigarettes or something, we might just avoid it altogether. It's so common in the coaching world that, heart-centered coaches, get in to it for money, and we avoid the money stuff. The other thing, if we get a bit spiritual, money is energy, and money wants to be helpful and wants to heal. And if you're a healer, heart-centered, wanting to help, money is a medicine, and you need medicine to be able to help people. So if we disengage from that and avoid it, all that really happens is we burn ourselves out. The help we can offer doesn't get offered. And, big corporate capitalism just wins even more because, everyone just kind of goes and gets in line and follows that versus, overcoming those things to feel, worthy of having money and to be able to do that. So, yeah, I see some nods here. Tell me, how does this land for both of you?
I mean, I'm personally feeling very seen and called out right now. In a good way.
Brian, it drew several kind of thoughts in my head here. One, this idea that money is energy. I think we recently had a podcast with Jennifer Grace, and a lot of that podcast was surrounding this idea that money is energy and it's okay to invest, and things of that nature. Another thought that I had kind of at the forefront of the discussion was so this is going to be kind of a personal story here. My dad, he had a conversation with me once, and he goes, Austin, my dad, which would be my grandfather, he said, save money, save every dime you can, save it. My dad said, that was okay, but money grows on trees, Austin. It's spend it. Money is there to spend. And I think I took that kind of paradigm with me these first several years of my life, and it wasn't until I reached a point where I thought, money is great to save, money is great to spend, but does it make the most sense to invest it, use it as a vehicle for investment, right? And I only came to this conclusion fairly recently, probably within the last 5 years. So I think in terms of my money story, that's currently where I'm at. This idea of it's okay to invest. It's okay to invest in a finance coach. It's okay to invest in this new business enterprise. And ultimately, Brian, I may take this mantra you said, it is safe to have money. I may use that one. That is a very good one. So very powerful all around. So.
Yeah, it's safe to have money. And you brought in, there's another element, which is, there's some intergenerational money, wealth trauma, these scripts and suggestions we hear as a kid, right? Money's to be saved, could be money is to be spent. Don't trust the bank. At the end of the day, what we free up when we tackle these things is we get to know who we are authentically and what we want in our life. And, again, to get a bit maybe spiritual or philosophical, like I believe we live in community. It's not really healthy. People who want to just save to the point where they could, go live off grid in the mountains and not have to connect with anyone. So we need to have that balance of, we have to, spend money and flow it. We have to invest in ourselves. So even you talk about hiring a financial coach. This is a podcast for coaches, and transformation comes after you invest in a coach, and it takes you through these transformations. And so many people's barrier, and I would offer, anyone listening to this who's a coach who wants to have a call just to talk about how to overcome the objective of someone saying, this is expensive. We avoid these investments in ourselves, but we have to find that balance and be careful who we're listening to. So even the idea of, can I save? Or some people get really down the rabbit hole of vigilantly saving and thinking they need to do a certain type of stock or a certain type of thing that's really just based on a story they heard from someone who says that that's great, or they do things like hyper vigilant of like, oh, I'm never going to borrow. I don't want any debt. And that's really hard. And you don't realize that a tool for wealth is proper use of debt sometimes. So we need to be able to confidently understand that and the impact as it relates to what we want as we navigate through, these things, and just understand ourselves and how we think, and, which suggestions we got that are helpful and which ones aren't helpful. And, really reprogram ourselves with the helpful ones that we want so that we can get ahead in the way we want to be.
Hi, I'm Lorna, and I'm a social media coach and part of the Millennial Life Coaches Network. From the moment that we made contact, they have been nothing but supportive of me and my business. I've been able to collaborate with some of the other coaches and now work with some of the other coaches to help us all make progress in our business. If you are new to coaching or even an existing coach, then one of the biggest assets you can have is an online community of coaches and entrepreneurs to give you that support, to show you what's possible, and to give you opportunities in your business. And Millennial Life Coaches definitely does that. So if you are looking for that kind of support, take a look and come join us.
Yeah. So, Brian, there was this gentleman at the 9 to 5. And this was about, I don't know, maybe a month ago. He goes, guys, invest in crypto. He goes, invest in crypto. And I think it was probably this past week, maybe 2 weeks ago. This other guy goes, man, I bought some is it Doge. I bought some Doge, and it keeps going down. So Brian's absolutely right, guys. Consider who you are listening to, who those inputs are, and it's okay to make sound decisions with those inputs. However, just make sure that they are based in some level of expertise, as Brian or other financial coaches would have. And Brian, I don't know if you would be a proponent of crypto, and I'm not saying that's sound advice. I don't have any myself. Maybe that's a sidebar we can talk about.
I'd love to actually. I'll tell you my crypto story.
Yeah, please. Hey,
which is I teach finance and economics at Fleming College, and we're in Peterborough, Ontario, and across town is Trent University, and the chancellor of Trent University at the time was a gentleman named Dan Tapscott. He wrote Wikonomics way back, but he is a big kind of crypto philosopher. Had some really good keynotes on crypto, and we would watch this keynote, and I believe in the technology and I like it. And then some kids would say, oh, are you saying we should buy Bitcoin? And I say no. So a couple of things to break down the whole kind of culture of like people putting their money into crypto is one, it's a technology. It's another form of currency. I believe currency is like a way to just exchange energy that's been around for thousands of years. Money is a collective story we've all bought into. There's different ways that could show up. It's changed through history. So that's kind of my opinion on that, is it's a thing, it exists. When we look at any market and supply and demand, the value really is based on the supply and demand of who wants it, who's selling, who's buying. When we get something like, crypto or these different coins and people connecting on the internet, it's this market where the value just depends on who else wants to buy it. And it's kind of like the little game where I think what we're trying to do is win an algorithm lottery of like, hey, if I do this, I will win a bunch of money and then I don't have to work again. That comes from a space of financial anxiety, right? We put this hope into algorithms of investment. We do this with our businesses and social media sometimes too, where it's like, I'll just go viral. I'll make a whole bunch of money and then it will be easy for the rest of my life. And when we kind of realize that, that's not true, it's not predictable. So what can we do? And one of the happiest and best ways we can live our life is being really good at what we do. And, understanding truly who we are, what we want, how we can serve the community and, charge appropriately for that, make money out of that. We give up and we release that power that, hope of like crypto going up, gets us. And when you look at really any investing, and I'm a certified financial planner, I used to sell investments. Every person in that space that I believe is really good at it all kind of have the same simple, boring strategy that they don't tell everyone. And yes, they might roll the dice a little bit on some of these games, but anyone who like guarantees something, they're always connecting some dots backwards. You'll hear the things like, well, if I had bought one Apple share back in the 80s, I'd be a cajillionaire now. But no one really does that because that's not how human behavior works. So when we spend our energy chasing these kind of sure things or these gambles, it really takes us away from, who we are, which we put our investments in. And what I find and what I'm a proponent of and why I do coaching, and I focus on small business owners who are good at what they do and are looking to build a life they want. When you invest in yourself and you invest in truly understanding what you want as a lifestyle, and then figuring out what you need to do to provision that lifestyle and build your business around you being the guide you are, it might not even be a slower path. It's the kind of path to building that wealth and life you want for what you really actually want, and not getting tied up in these stories of people who, win huge amounts of money or have these great investments. Or, I have a book back here called Die with Zero. People are sometimes 80 years old and they've got this stack of cash they're sitting on and they're worried about how well their investments are doing, but they're not even going to be around soon. So how do we, use our wealth to live the life we want and use our skills to, kind of build that wealth? And that's the, fuzzy area I just love engaging in.
Brian, first of all, I took so many notes.
Okay.
This has been fantastic. It reminded me of, I was reading, oh goodness, it was Tony Robbins, it was a Guide to Money, right? And he effectively says there's no get rich quick schemes, right? And that it takes a while to build that money story, that money vehicle, and to start sooner rather than later, right? So I think it may not be a quick thing, right? It's something that will take time and that you have to invest into, right? And
Yeah, invest into it. Invest in your understanding, and also invest in the personal work to release, maybe some things that should have, or you that aren't serving you. So even hearing that, like, Tony Robbins says to start early and do this. Some people are like, well, I'm 40 and I'm, got a pile of debt and I haven't done anything. Why should I even bother? But we can break it down a little bit and, a couple kind of mantras. One is, I forgive myself for what I did to survive. And we understand these past mistakes of not saving, not investing, overspending, getting into debt. It's all related to some soothing behavior or behaviors that, aren't serving you. And we have to forgive ourselves for that. And then the other part, and even, when you hear things from someone like a Tony Robbins or, Dave Ramsey, or all these influencers are telling you what to do, the should monster shows up. And should is a big, big word in money, because, the first thing you want to say is, well, based on what? And according to who? And usually when we start breaking that down, we're just getting someone else's money story and their traumas that might have nothing to do with you. And I've watched like 23-year-old kids have breakdowns because their parents think they should have a fully funded RSPs and a house and all their student loans paid, all of this stuff. It's like should, without even knowing who they are and what they want in life, or knowing that at certain stages, your goal is just investing in yourself and your skills and maybe exploring what you want. So, but it's never too late to start kind of rewriting your money story and like figuring out what you want, because at the end of the day, it's your life and you get to create it however you want. And, if we have an audience of people who are into, mindset stuff and reprogramming, we know that we could just create whatever we want in life with the right guides and the right healing.
Yeah. I love that so much, because you're right. So many of us fall into that, well, I'm at this age, so I should have had it figured out by now. And then the shoulding on ourselves is a real thing. So that's powerful advice. And the I forgive myself, that one, I'm writing down this is going to be my mantra now.
Brian, I could listen to you all day, man.
Right?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. I could talk all day about these things, and I would say I've done my own reflecting, my own like unpacking of stuff that just seems to never end, and like so many business owners I've worked with, and they get into business because they're told to, or it's a family business, or they're trying to attain this thing that they don't even want. And it's so rewarding when I work with people and it aligns with what they want. We could teach them the money skills that they need for their business, and then to watch them do things like vacation with their family, or even there's a joy in watching them solve a really hard business problem where, it's really challenging and it keeps you up at night, but it's more about creating and delivering their service than it is about tossing and turning, over debt or over whether or not they have enough cash in their account coming in tomorrow.
Exactly. And Brian, while we have you on the call here, Tanya mentioned earlier that you have a program coming. Could you give us a bit more context on that?
Yes. So it's called Profit Confidence, and what I want to do with that program is help take you from financial anxiety and put you on a path to profit confidence, where you are really confident in your business. You have the financial skills that you need, and understand, the truth of what you need to do to build that profit that you want, that funds the life that you want. So it's going to be a 12-month program that's a combination of, me doing some teaching and leading you through some education and exercises, along with some one-on-one coaching to help you really understand, what does this mean for my business? It's 12 months because I came to the realization that, it takes more than 90 days. I could teach you everything in a couple hours, but to really integrate it takes some time. And we have to do it gently. And we have to go through some seasons of your business and cash flow. Also, a lot of people end up with, some projects they need. Maybe they need to restructure their financial loans. Maybe they need to obtain some loans. So we're going to kind of gently go through that together for a period of 12 months. Did I miss anything, Tanya? Tanya's been helping me with all of the mechanics of this with Coach Core, and I'm just so excited to have her on my side. And just wondering if I'm missing any details there.
I mean, I think the biggest detail is one of the reasons you got started with this program is because you were going to double people's revenue, I believe is the word you used, in 12 months.
Oh, yes. I keep forgetting about that part. That's the other mindset of like, let's double your revenue. For me, it's all about making or saving money so we can save some money and restructure. We can make new decisions that grow our revenue. We can eliminate financial anxiety so that we're just focused on delivering our great services that we have. So doubling your revenue is a really good benchmark to use. I love, and I will let everyone know, the first step in this is to book yourself a $1 million conversation with me. So many of my big successes in my career, I realized, trace back to a conversation where a mindset or an understanding switched that enabled some decisions that could make or save someone at least $1 million. Some of the stories I have are probably going to compound to a lot more than that. But that's my intent when I walk in. Like, we're here to rewrite your money story, rewire how you think of money, and really just unlock the freedom that comes with just being able to focus on your business without having to worry about your money.
Love that.
Brian, for the audience out there, I know we've got some guys and gals out there that want to get in contact with you. So how would they begin that process?
Yeah, so brianrump.com is my website. It will lead you to all of those programs. And if you'd like to start very gently, brianrump.com/financial anxiety quiz is a free resource that we have that will just help you determine how much financial anxiety you have in your business.
I love it. And on social, how do we find you?
All right. I'm at Brian Rump. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm at Money Story Rewrite on Instagram as well. That's where you can find me.
Amazing.
Excellent, guys. And we'll put all the stuff in the comments. So read the comments below, guys.
Yep.
All right, Brian, this has been pretty good. I certainly appreciate your presence, your time, the discussion, the introspection, just all of it, Brian. It's been a good time.
Yeah, this has been wonderful, and so much fun. I could talk about this stuff all day, and anyone who feels connected to this, get me on a call. Would love to talk about what it means for you.
You got it. Thanks, Brian. With that, we'll go ahead and close it. To the audience out there, thanks for sticking with us. This has been a great one. And always remember, you don't have to be a coach to change the world. Just positively impact somebody's day, and you're aligning to our mission. So thank you, and take care.